It starts at 600, sometimes it's 800, sometimes it's 1,000 square feet. It just depends on the zoning and the size of the property.
But they had told me 500.
There's a chart that's got a lot of numbers on it. Yeah.
Miss Gross, if maybe you can get together and you show me the property that I'm thinking about, then I'll get you the specifics on it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
May I
ma'am.
speak?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Marilyn Jackson. I've been on Duval quite a bit. I know the people. I'm not looking at the houses, they're beautiful, and I know they need to be preserved. I own a plantation house and I'm preserving it. And these guys are veterans, and I'm looking at the heart, and they are having to sell, like have yard sales all the time just to maintain. And they're hungry as well. I go in and I'm at a yard sale, or he's going to make a yard sale for me, because when I come, he knows I'm going to buy. And just to take his mom out to dinner. There are several houses like that on Duval, and they sell together, and I buy. I don't buy the resale, I'm buying to furnish homes. So definitely, I think of the heart of the home and who's living in it. These are veterans I'm meeting. Every time I go there, I'm meeting veterans. I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Cheryl Pruitt, 125 2nd Street, Northwest of Hood, Florida. I live on 2nd Street, which is parallel to this, and I've watched. They're beautiful. They did a beautiful job on it. I have to say they did. But I would oppose, if they was going to put one more on it, I probably wouldn't oppose. But I'm opposing because, and I kind of wondered why they took all the trees and everything down. Now I know was their intentions, possibly. I'm just speculating. To put more. I oppose it because it is historic. But as it is, all those houses down through there, even my house, 1916, and we have maintained it and tried to keep it up. I don't like to see apartments and things like that come into that district. Is what I'm saying, because it's going to change us, and that's my reasoning for it. Sure.
Anita Williams. I actually wasn't going to speak on this one, but listening to Ms. Pruitt, can you put the sign up again? Because I'm wondering if the neighbors know, on that paperwork, does that, for a lay person, would Ms. Pruitt be able to look at that and know that they were going to put extra houses on the lot next to her if she went to her neighbors and said, look at that form out there, would she be able to say, look at that land use change? I think they're getting ready to put multi-unit housing next to our homes we've owned for years. So can you answer if they would know that?
The sign says there's a requested zoning to a category. That category allows for multiple different scenarios.
Okay,
I can't speculate on
would you
the
know that,
understanding of what, don't interrupt me. I can't speculate on the understanding of somebody from a varied background or understanding level. What it does is the sign directs people to come to the city and seek out additional information. And if somebody calls us, or they come into the office, or they send us an email, and they say, basically, what is this about? We let them know, we answer all their questions, and we address everything that they have to ask so that they have a full understanding. But this is our public notice requirements that we have in our code. We follow it. We advertise it in the newspaper, and we're open for business to answer questions.
Okay.
you know, that's,
And I've seen it, it's gorgeous, and bienvenido de nuevo, Cinco. I'm not trying to, I'm just being the devil's advocate before a decision is made. I'm listening to things, specifically things, Councilwoman, Robinson said. I don't know what the guidelines are, but usually when you have historic homes in a neighborhood, the city has some kind of guidelines or charter that doesn't allow you to just make a neighborhood start looking any kind of way after it's been historic. And I'm wondering if this can, not that you can vote no, but if some of the people on that street, Ms. Pruitt comes all the time to the meetings, has time to go back and talk to her neighbors to let them know what's coming to that neighborhood before you make a vote tonight. Thank you.
So I do want to point out and just clarify one thing, just to make sure that I'm clear. As it sits currently, mobile homes can be on this property.
it's one parcel of record, so one manufactured home could be allowed there, which would mean the existing house would have to be torn down, and then it could be replaced with a manufactured home.
So I'm not really interested, and this may sound callous, but I'm not interested in becoming a city HOA. I'm just not. That's just me speaking personally. I don't live in a neighborhood in which has an HOA for that reason. And I think when you start getting governmental reach into areas of private property and telling people what they can and can't do, I think we fall on a very, very, very sharp sword there, because all I hear from constituents and from people that come from outside of our community and people who come to these meetings and stand at that microphone right there is we don't have enough housing. We have a housing problem. But whenever we start offering solutions to those housing problems, we get kickback. So it's like darned if you do, darned if you don't. So I'm standing on the side of preservation of, yes, of historical areas, historical homes, if they're labeled such. But if they're not, I mean, right now we need housing. And I mean, if I'm looking at the juxtaposition properties and then around that area, just looking from these photos, and I look at what this gentleman is creating, I don't see what we're complaining about if we are complaining. I don't know that we are complaining, but I'm just saying I see something that looks like a better product than what's there or what was there. So, I mean, and we're sitting here, we're kind of talking all around the point, but if it comes right down to it, we're beating a dead horse at the moment. So I'd like for us to kind of move forward and to get to a vote, because I think we're at that point to where I understand everybody's input, I understand frustrations, I understand, change, I understand that there's different levels of things that people want done at all different times and different viewpoints. But at the end of the day, I think we're dealing with this specific agenda item right now, and I think we're getting away from that, so to speak. So if we could just, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing portion. I think we already did, actually. And we have a motion and a second. So we're just, as long as there's no more questions or concerns from council, we can put it to a vote now. More questions or concerns from council? All right, hearing none. All in favor of ordinance 15.30? Or I'm sorry, 15.30.
I got one point.
There's really no reason. We're voting now, so, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got a little far-fetched, but that was my fault for running.
Yeah, we've got way off, we got way
But I
off.
would do a roll call just to make
All right,
sure.
so we'll do a roll call, start with Mr. Alford.
Yes, offer yes.
Gladys Owens, yes.
Vanessa, yes.
Jefferson. It's a good question. I'm gonna go with no, and I do have my reason why.
Mr. Campbell, yes. So first reading of ordinance 1530, approved. Moving on to item E.
Thank you. Next item is the first reading of ordinance 1531.
Let me read it back.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Ordinance number 1531, an ordinance of the city of Live Oak, Florida, amending the zoning district to 0.282 acres more or less of land on the official zoning atlas of the city of Live Oak Land Development Regulations pursuant to an application LDR 2501 by the property owners and/or their authorized representative under the amendment procedures established in Article 3 of the Land Development Regulations, providing for a change in the assigned zoning district from residential single-family 2, RSF2, to residential office RO on certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of Live Oak, Florida, providing for severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, authority, and an effective date. So open your public hearing.
All right, public hearing open. Mr. Curtis?
Thank you. This is a similar request to the one we just heard. However, the existing zoning is residential single-family too, so it allows for a single site-built home. The requested zoning is residential office, which based on the size of the property would allow for one duplex to replace the existing home that's there. And this is 704 Duval Street Northeast. So this is on the corner of Tedder Avenue and Duval, about a block to the east of the see here. Well, it's a couple blocks to the east of the 406 restaurant, on the corner of Tedder. So this did go before the Planning and Zoning Board on March 31st, where they unanimously recommended to the City Council to approve the request, and staff's analysis of the request was staff also recommended approval of it. And the letter of intent that's in the packet on behalf of the applicant describes that they're looking to increase housing availability, optimize land utilization, support economic growth, enhance property values, and maintain infrastructure and roadway integrity. And as I stated, they intend to remove a very blighted structure from the property and seek to construct a single duplex in its place.
All right. Public comments? Yes, sir. Just say your name one more time, please.
Harold Bridges, 4943508 George Avenue. I just look that you guys go deeper into it before you decide. Just take a look at what's going on, and that's all I gotta say.
Yes, sir. Again, these are first readings of these ordinances, just correct, so you guys understand that as well. There'll be a second reading, more opportunities for that, what you're discussing. Any further public comments?
Is the owner gonna speak? I wanna speak after the owner.
I don't know if the applicant's here.
I'm not sure if the applicant is here or not. Is the applicant here? Is it?
That's the question I was gonna ask, Marion Gross and stuff. Is the same people buying all the land, or you don't know, it don't
American
matter?
Builders, American Builders.
What was their
Correct,
name?
each other.
I was thinking it's the same people buying.
I have nothing to do with it.
All right, hearing no more public comments, move to the council, be the pleasure of the council.
I'll offer a motion for the first reading of ordinance 1531.
You have a motion? We're statutorily obligated for somebody to second this, so we can talk about it. But- All right, thank you. Questions, comments, concerns?
Of course, the planning, this portion is up for discussion with the council. All of these that's coming forth is coming forth on the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board. And with the Planning and Zoning Board, they have thought this through, and basically, we have been told we can't vote. I mean, we basically have to accept whatever they give us as to move forward by law. So, I mean, I have nothing else to say as to our planning and zoning board maybe needs to a little bit better with.
You want to talk about substantial competent evidence, like if there was something new presented tonight? that
Yeah,
would-
you're under no legal obligation to follow the recommendation, but there has to be presented before the city council additional substantial and competent evidence that would weigh against the recommendation of the planning and zoning board. And so, a prime example, not to bring up a 5 or 6 meeting subject, but we had the development out on past the schools. We took a lot of evidence from developers, engineers, etc., and then you're weighing that evidence. So what you have tonight to go on right now is the evidence that's in your packet that was presented and compiled by the planning and zoning board and city staff. City staff facts, evidence, opinions, etc., are considered evidence. You have to find that they're substantially competent, and if that's the only evidence you have and it relates directly to the project, then you're waiting on to do something different other than a recommendation. You're waiting on tonight someone to present substantial competent evidence related solely to this project and to this lot. And that's what he was meaning by that, is that, so we opened the public meeting to see if there is any substantial competent evidence presented to weigh against the evidence that you have in the form of the compilation from city staff and the planning and zoning board, and that's why you have the public hearing. So if you hear none, you're left with the only substantial competent evidence that the recommendation should be upheld. If you find that the evidence in the packet is substantial competence.
Right, thank you.
So let me ask a question, maybe clarify this. How many houses can go on this piece of property?
With currently one, with the zoning change approved, they could do 2 homes or a duplex, which would be a combined, 2 units combined under one roof. I don't know that there's enough room on the property to do 2 independent homes, but if they could find a way to make that work within setbacks, then they could do 2 homes.
So that's, I wanted to ask that, so I wanted to ask this time, so, it's 1 to 2 can be put on this property.
Actually, Mr. Curtis did say that earlier. All right, any further questions, comments, or concerns from the council? We got a motion and a second. All right, do a roll call vote on this one as well. Start with Paul. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing. Yes, sir.
Alford, yes.
Robinson, yes.
Jefferson. Yes.
Campbell, yes. All right, moving forward to item F, I do have Mr. Carroll, Mr. Castleberry. You want to speak after?
So City Council Resolution number 2025-05, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Live Oak, Florida, authorizing the city to accept and approve the subdivision plat titled Scott Street Station, subject to all conditions, provisions, and requirements of the city's Code of Ordinances, Land Development Regulations, and Comprehensive Plan as amended, accepting the dedication shown on the plat, accepting the completion of all existing and future public improvements as are required for the subdivision, authorizing execution and recording of the plat, providing for the recordation of the plat, and providing for an effective date. Although not technically an ordinance, I would open a public meeting, public hearing for comment because of the nature of it being in the land use area.
All right, at this time, at direction of council, we'll open it up for public hearing, and we'll start Mr. Curtis and then Mr. Castleberry to speak.
Thank you, George Curtis, Development Manager. The subdivision of land is governed first by Florida statute that have been adopted by the legislature, and then to supplement that, we have Article 5 in our land development regulations, which further explains the process for creating a subdivision. This property is in a low-density residential area. It's 5.51 acres, more or less, in size, and so the proposal is to create 5 platted lots out of that 5.51 acres of varying sizes, and this is on the corner of Tarver and Scott Street in proximity to the city lift station that is there. And so we've reviewed the proposal and the notes and all the criteria on the plat pursuant to the land development regulations, and staff finds it consistent with the current zoning and with requirements of for subdivision. So we recommend approval based on that.
All right. Yes, sir.
Carol Castleberry, I'm a professional surveyor and mapper that's representing the owners of the property. So I'll just, if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
All right, just want to stand by, that'd be great. All right, anybody from the public care to speak on this? Questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
It's about development, but not these
You have to come to the podium.
So, I saw the agenda and
Can you
I,
say your name just for the record?
Anita Williams, I'll try to speak back. I saw the agenda and I thought it was other properties I was coming to speak on because I'm looking at purchasing property and there seems to be some problems, and as Mr. Bridges said, I'm a bit concerned about buying property here because I'm not sure if everybody gets the same treatment, so I'm gonna go over why I'm asking this for Mr. Curtis and the council. So it seems that every time I come to a meeting, there's a lot of developers that are getting property and they buy it at auction, and I buy things at auction. Now, I have property that I wanted to develop in this Robinson's neighborhood and asked for a waiver from the city manager, and he denied it. Now, the developer, when I asked why he was getting hundreds, many hundreds of thousands of tax lien waived when they're saying we are broke. And they said because it's going to bring revenue. So my question is, in all fairness and transparency, there's a tax lien sale coming up, and I'm at
Ma'am, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to
No,
have
no,
to.
but I
Does this
wanna
have
ask.
anything to do with?
Yeah, it does.
the